Hey, everybody, it's Everett with Ohio for Freedom, the program that is focused for, unfortunately, foreseeable future, talking about things in the church that shouldn't be in the church. Now, what we're going to talk about tonight, it was a mistake for anybody to ever consider this to be in the church, but there was people that were fooled. And I'm very, very fortunate tonight to have a former member, I'll say former involved person, heavily involved in the organization of David Taylor. Thank the Lord in heaven. Thank you, Jesus, that this young man is out, way, way out, free. And boy, is he a loud whistleblower for the truth and has a heart for those that have been victimized. And so without any further to do and wasted time, I'm going to bring in Rich Holmes. Rich, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Just real clear, I've never been a part of this cult. I'm not even religious. I don't go to church.
Apologize.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay. I want to make the record clear. That's fine. Not a problem. It's okay. It's okay. I'm in touch with a lot of the survivors of this organization, which is,
well, that's what life's all about, y'all. Brother,
yes.
I appreciate it. You know, my good friend Vanessa Johnson.
Yes. Good people.
I may be confusing someone that she talked to that raised money and all this, but all the much the better. All the much the better. I really appreciate it.
With the exception of the survivors, I'm probably the one person out there, and I typically don't say this, but I know a lot about this organization because we spent so much time on it, picking apart what was happening.
Yeah.
And when I initially started this, it all started with the deposition, David's infamous deposition. Asked Michelle, well, I'm a taxpayer. You don't know who on your taxes, buddy? And you're a pastor and a Christian and an apostle? Well, to me, common sense should tell me you should know what kind of money you're bringing in, and you can't. Okay, that first red flag right there for me, boss.
Brother, you just described all of Pentecostal charismaticdom there, but that's another issue.
Yeah.
How about we frame it this way?
Yeah.
I don't know that I can, if there's anybody that has no idea what's going on with David Taylor, that's like 2 or 3 programs just to do that. But there was a new, I'm going to call it layman's terms, sort of an addendum filing. It's just like they put a lot more meat on the bone.
That was a third indictment. That's a superseding indictment. You have to think this place has been indicted 3 times by 3 separate grand juries. Each time they have presented this case to the grand jury said yes, yes, and yes.
Wow.
So it has nothing to do with like they were adding more meat to it. No, they just technically they added more meat to it, but this proves what was going on.
Yeah. And we're 3 minutes in. I haven't given the disclaimer yet, and I'm going to. Folks, this is definitely viewer discretion advised. And I don't say that for hyperbole or because it sounds sensational. This might be triggering for some. And so you have to use your own discretion. And there are some things in this superseding indictment that we're going to be very, very, very careful to not say, because there's some very nasty stuff in there. I think I went through what we're going to show on the screen.
Oh man.
But we just got to be real careful, y'all. And I mean this sincerely. So it might be triggering.
Kids around, no kids on this stream. This is like not for kids stream. Yeah. No, if you got kids in the room, out.
Okay. So Rich, what we're going to try to do is actually read through a lot of what was in this superseding indictment, but could we, just for the sake of somebody that's starting like from square one because they live a happy, normal life, could you take just a minute or two and just try to set the stage to what is a David Taylor and the arrest and all, and then we can jump into the superseding lawsuit.
So what is David Taylor? Who is he? Well, to me, he's a cult leader. Very, very well documented.
Oh yeah.
Everything about him says cult from the inside out and up, down, left, right. But these indictments have been working on for years. I know that is a fact. I myself and some of people from our community have actually sent in fraud reports on this guy because we're like, hey, the math and the numbers here ain't mathing. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Well, through my own research, I had made some contacts in the government, and they're like, well, we need witnesses. We don't have a case without witnesses. It's like, okay, we'll bring you the witnesses.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's ultimately where we're at now, is these people have come forward, whoever they are. I don't know who witnesses are. To be very, very clear about that. I don't know who the witnesses are. I don't know who V1 through V8 is. Yeah, there's people that come on my channel, but they've never disclosed to me whether they're mentioned in the indictment or not. So I don't ask. And I've told them I don't want to know. It's none of my business.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to, so last year the big arrest was made. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
What happened and how big of a deal was that?
Really look at it as a multi-state raid. You had Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Michigan, and Missouri all raided at the same time. You're talking multiple agencies. You probably had, I'm still trying to digest the magnitude of this raid, the amount of assets that they had. The reason they had all these assets is, one, because they knew they had guns. I know for a fact they had guns because I've seen them personally. I know they had assault rifles. They're known to be violent. We learned this lesson from Waco back in the 80s.
Yeah.
The feds will never take another chance like that again. You had helicopters, Bearcats. I mean, multiple raids happening at the same time. They knew what they were looking for, and they hit. The raid was massive. It was massive. That was a huge raid.
Yeah.
You're talking 5 different states, 7 different locations at the same time.
Yeah. Vanessa Johnson, it really helped me when she explained to me that, okay, if the 4 or 5 states or however many in different locations, like there's not one person or like one judge that can say, okay, I'll sign off on all these warrants. Every one of those jurisdictions was a separate judge, so to get that kind of a coordinated multi-state raid all to happen on the same day, I mean, is almost unprecedented. I mean, it's absolutely huge.
You're talking about pushing a lot of egos aside, right?
Yeah.
From the top down and the bottom up.
And just because this judge in Florida says, yep, I'm signing off on it, that doesn't mean that a judge in Michigan has to, but all that came together. How much money did they find, or what did they find when they did that raid?
Okay, I know from what I've read, these are the things that stand out most to me. The gold that was never reported, that was smuggled in, I found out from my sources that know this place very well. That gold was smuggled in. It was never reported to the government. So 200 ounces of smuggled gold, 700 digital devices. That's a phone, a tablet, a hard drive, a thumb drive. Take your pick. 700. 6 digital devices, cell phones. Let me say 6 cell phones were found in a safe where David was arrested. He had 3 on his person. Now, I have 1 phone, people. I don't know why somebody needs 6, 9 phones.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get some
cars.
clues as we.
Yeah, they found cars. They found money. They found foreign currency. I mean, everything that basically designates a money laundering operation. You know, all the elements are there. Right.
Well, let's do this. Let's dive into the. Folks, what I've done is I think the superseding indictment was like 42 pages. We can't read 42
48.
pages.
It was 48. 48.
Oh, and I got to say, thank you. You texted me this on like about 11:30 Eastern, I think on Friday night. I was like barely awake, but appreciate it. People can text me at any time of the day or night. And this was filed on the 29th of July.
We just got this.
What's that?
We just got this a few days ago. Yeah,
exactly. So this is like hot off the presses. So I'm going to dive into a first slide here. And I just thought I'd read a few things and then say, hey, Rich, talk to us. These are some of the things, or the counts, or whatever you call that. Taylor recruited individuals from across the country to work as laborers at the call centers. Taylor, Brannon, and Klein, so those were 2 higher-ups, instructed the call center laborers to make a specific number of calls and raise specific money each day.
Yep.
They were commonly unpaid. That's the name of his organization, COGC.
Well, KOGGC. KOGGC stands for Kingdom of God Global Church. Okay. Kojic, which is it's a short of Kojic, like Kingdom of God. Kojic is Kingdom of God, something church. But the reason it's KOGGC is because JMMI was revoked by the IRS in 2021 for failure to pay taxes. So there's also one more name that the IRS hasn't mentioned that I know about, which is Marvels in America World Healing. That's a whole different story, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it said that they received approximately, these guys took in, Rich, 50 million in donations since 2014.
Conservative. That's conservative amount.
Yeah, I hear you. And laborers often told donors that their donations would be used to build water wells in Africa, disaster relief in the U.S., support of victims of human trafficking, and support. So, in other words, Rich, did they raise this $50 million under what mostly looks like false pretenses?
Absolutely, 100%. And I want everybody to be clear about. Like, people might think of this as a Ponzi scheme. No, this is a boiler room operation. You ever heard of a boiler room, Everett?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what this is. In this case, David was selling his dead-end dreams to people, right? A boiler room, as you said, dead-end assets that have no value.
Right.
In this case, it was David's dreams, his supernatural experiences with God. This isn't a Ponzi scheme, everybody. This is a boiler room. Good movie. Recommend you watch it. Put David in that position. This is what you get.
And he buddied up to, Rich, some pretty big names in Pentecostal Christendom. He did events with Paula White, who is the head of the faith office in Washington, D.C. We can add to that Darlene Bishop. We can add to that Vicky Yowie, but I don't want to get too lost on that. So Taylor recruited individuals to work as his armor bearers and served as his personal servants. The armor bearers carried out Taylor's demands, including providing food for him, transporting him, maintaining his houses, cars, bringing women from ministry houses, airports, and other locations to his location, ensuring that those women took Plan B emergency contraceptives. What is that all about, Rich?
That is all 100% true. I always knew David was up to something creepy because he was hiding so much, saying this biblical shut away. No, you were hiding because COVID really spurred people to go. He really adapted through COVID. This is where he got worse. He didn't have to leave. He could claim shut away, although everybody was secluded, and then just have women brought to him. The Plan B, absolutely 100% true, man. Absolutely 100% true.
Well, some of us live a pretty innocent life. So the Plan B was he would have these women brought to them, have intimate relations with them, and send them home with the abortion pill. Is that basically right?
I'm guessing, and maybe even before or after. Hey, take this before you sleep with them, or here, take this before you go home.
That's
take your pick. People in this, you have to really take your pick. This guy was a sick man. Everything that's come out in this indictment, disgusted but not surprised, because we were actually saying this guy's a sick man. I do, to this extent, he was using God in this way. I'm not even Christian, Everett. I don't go to church, man. But you put a man like this in a position of power with this type of control, there's no telling what he's going to do with it.
Yeah. And Rich, I'll just say it's really sad when Christians, brother, the Christian industry buddied up to this guy. We don't have that. We're just kind of centering on the lawsuit. The lawsuit tonight. So, to compel obedience to Taylor's demands, Taylor, Brannon, and Klein, and other members of the conspiracy controlled practically every aspect of the daily living of certain laborers and created rules. For example, Taylor, Brannon, and Klein commonly demanded the laborers cut off any family or friends who questioned Taylor or Kojic. Taylor and Brannon usually forced full-time laborers to give up any outside employment. Laborers often slept in the call center facility or in a quote ministry house, and Taylor prohibited dating within Kojic. Any comment, Rich?
That's all true. That's all 100% true. Everything. Having the. Can you bring that back up real quick, Everett?
Yes, I can.
Let me check it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything was controlled by them, and that's the one thing in a cult. Hey, the first thing they tell you to do: break apart your family. Don't contact your family. I've spoken to survivors of this organization. One thing they were instructed to do was break their phones or get rid of their phones. Cut all ties with family. Don't talk to anybody. That gym in my building up in Taylor, yes, people were sleeping there. That's all true. Demanded, yep. Cut family ties. Yep. No employment was allowed outside. The whole dating thing with David, that's later on in the indictment, because David, in this indictment, it's full blown Napoleon complex, basically telling these women, I want you to tell me that you love me and that I'm the only man you want to be with. And it's disgusting, people. Like, I get if you have that kind of conversation with your wife, that's different. But this guy's a pastor of a church, everybody. And these girls are 19, 18, barely legal.
We're gonna read about that, unfortunately, a little later. But I took that to mean also that meant that, okay, you're cult members, you're sleep deprived, you're punished, you're harassed, all of these different things. But the dating within Kojic meant you could not date a fellow member of the cult. So he had all these people, women, they were ripe for his picking, but they were not free to pursue a relationship on their own with somebody else. Is that
they inside or outside of the cult? They weren't allowed relationships. Only David was allowed relationships.
Wow. He demanded that laborers apply electric. His sleep-deprived, forced laborers apply for government-funded electronic benefits transfer, EBT card. They'd had to claim to be homeless, give a false address, and the ones who obtained an EBT card had to give the card to Taylor, Brannon, or other Kojic staff members. Yep. What's that all about?
That's fraud. That's control. That's just another way they were controlling the food intake, because there was food deprivation, sleep deprivation, there was forced labor. That was, being one of the survivors, we're talking the other night, and we were talking about it too. Everett, what do you call this? Like, this goes above and beyond anything we've ever seen. Like, this is a completely hybridized style of abuse in a cult. It really is. This man took abuse to he abused people. Anybody that came in contact with this man is a victim. That's the best way I can put it.
Oh, yeah. And causing them to defraud the government with EBT, but then they would take control of it. Yes. So he's taken in all this money, this $50 million that we know about, or the lawsuit alleges. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, they're ripping the government off for, you can buy a lot of things with an EBT card, man. You can buy some food.
They took a $30,000 PPP loan too during COVID. Did you all know that?
Did not know that. He required laborers to follow rules and orders he created and communicated. If a laborer, and I just got to say, Rich, I'm talking to our regular audience here, but folks, what we're going through, and you're going to find out in the next few months, I'm really describing several other places that many in the body of Christ considered to be ministries with this kind of conduct. If a laborer disobeyed an order or failed to follow a rule, Taylor, Brannon, Klein, and other members of the conspiracy would commonly punish the laborer and claim the laborer was defying God and would suffer in hell. And punishments would include physical assault, Rich, additional work, sleep deprivation, food restriction, loss of shelter, physical abuse, and threats of spiritual damnation.
All true. All true. Now, to a Christian, what I've learned in this, not being Christian, to somebody who doesn't know better in Christianity, and this isn't a slight at Christianity or people in Christianity, I am no means just saying that, but he used that to his advantage. David had a very specific pool of people that he preyed on, and that was the people who didn't know better. people who maybe abused, come from violent past, drug abuse, homelessness. I know for sure he preys on previously sexually abused victims.
Wow.
He knows it and he hones in on it. This guy's a predator. He's a full-blown predator, everybody.
Yeah. When that last line, or I think it says it twice. They would claim the laborer was defying God and would suffer in hell. And then the end of this screenshot, and threats of spiritual damnation. Rich, as we go through this, and that's why I keep giving these trigger alerts, David Taylor was really good at threatening hell on people for disobeying him, right?
Yes, very good at it. And that's the thing, the people he took it out on didn't know better, or weren't being taught. Maybe they hadn't been taught God properly, or fell off the wagon somewhere. I don't know. But I'm speechless with what he's done to these people, because you can legit look at some of these people sometime on screen and you're just like, they're definitely not there, and it's a horrible thing to say, but you're like, we see why he's been able to do this for so long.
Yeah. Fear of leaving. Taylor, Brannon, Klein, and other members of the conspiracy created a climate of fear that deterred laborers from leaving Kojic.
Yes.
Rich, you have no idea how much I'm biting the bullet right now to stay on track here. This fear of leaving, this climate of fear that deterred laborers from leaving by telling believers that if they left Kojic, they would suffer consequences, including sickness, accidents, death, eternal damnation. Taylor, Brannon, Klein, and other members of the conspiracy called laborers to fear that not obeying their orders would result in being cast out from Kojic, leaving them homeless, separated from God at times. Taylor Brannon agreed to, oh my God. So here we go, folks. This is why we've been giving out these disclaimers. Agreed to disseminate sexually illicit explicit images that Taylor received as another form of punishment and retaliation about speaking out about Kojic. Rich, we're starting to get into the really nasty stuff, but do you have a comment?
This is what's called sexploitation, and it's a crime. It's a real deal. That's still kind of new, like the whole sexploitation thing. I was kind of studying about it through COVID. When somebody is threatened with that type of stuff, it can lead to suicide. And I've read multiple stories about it, and it's a real thing. And David used that. He did. I know for a fact David disseminated all kinds of explicit photos of women without their permission.
But you're going to find out, he would demand that these female members of his cult demand that they take explicit images, and then he has that for his sadistic pleasure, but he's also got it as a weapon against them, correct?
Yes. If you don't send these to me, I'm not trying to scare you, but God's going to threaten, like, kill your entire family, or that's why you're sick. Get with Everett. If y'all want this indictment, get with Everett, read it yourself, be sitting down. It's some of the most horrid, disgusting display of deviancy you've ever read in a church. Warren Jeffs was a different story, but you read this, like you're inside the mind of a psychopathic sexual abuser. And it's
okay.
sick.
We're ahead of the game here a little bit.
Sorry.
No, not you. Here's what I'm saying. My mind is racing ahead, Rich. Because we're going to read some text, y'all, in just a little bit from text messages. Rich mentioned all those devices that were confiscated. Well, those devices have very, excuse my language, damning evidence and just actual communications. But here's what I might as well go here. And we don't have to park here too long, Rich, but I don't want to be misunderstood when I say this. This guy was like a genius of evil.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. A genius of evil. That's the best way to put it. And we're trying to figure out, what do you call this type of behavior, Everett? This is some serial sadist stuff. Like this, I was calling it spiritual sadism, but this goes beyond that, Everett.
Where does a person learn how to do this?
I think he was born this way. I think he was born this way because there are some things that I've learned throughout this. I mean, the guy was stealing his sister's Barbie dolls at 7 years old and sleeping with them. That's a problem.
That's why we give trigger alerts. Let's just keep going, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's just keep going. Public rebukes. And you've talked to victims, and so maybe you can chime in after we read this, Rich, if that's been your experience in taking the testimony of these victims. But Taylor, Brandon Klein, and other members of the conspiracy regularly conducted meetings with large groups of members to rebuke and publicly, that sounds like tribunaling, publicly humiliate the laborers who disobeyed. Rebuking included yelling, humiliation, sometimes requiring the subjects of the rebuking to get on their knees in an attitude of repentance, occasional physical assaults. Let me stop right there. Physical assaults. That's come up twice. Have you heard about that speaking with victims, Rich?
Multiple times over. I've heard of broken bones.
What?
Yep. I've heard of broken bones. Yep.
You disappointed the cult. You disobeyed apostle, and what they would beat them, whip them, hit them,
beat them, whip them, hit them, push them around. And this is all done in a very public spectacle too. We guys got to be clear about that. When these assaults are taking place, this is done in front of everybody. So now you have a humiliation factor, And yes, broken bones. Yes.
Again, where did this guy learn this stuff? Let me read this last paragraph. Feel free to say anything.
One of the survivors I talked to is David bought books about like all these socialist and communist leaders. Those books.
Really?
He studied. Mm-hmm. Like for real, like food deprivation, that's Stalinist regime type deprivation. Yeah. Like you're taking that back to like Rasputin and the Russian oligarchs when they're starving their people out. Like that's communist rule behavior.
This sounds like North Korea. This sounds like the Chinese Revolution, which was the subject of Lifton's book. I just want to read this last sentence. Who already were required, they'd have to attend these meetings that resulted in laborers who were already required to work long hours in the call center and on other tasks required by Taylor, Brandon Klein, not being able to sleep at night. Rich.
Yes, all true. That was the one thing that this cult was big on. What I've learned is how much sleep they didn't get. Like I've heard people say, "Oh, I only got 3 hours of sleep. I only got 2 hours of sleep." It's like, really? That's what you guys are battling over, like who gets the less amount of sleep. It wasn't about, hey, I got this much sleep. It was like, no, I didn't get this much sleep. Sleep deprivation is very common in a cult for programming. When you're sleep deprived, you'll do anything. You'll do anything.
You don't know how many times we hear about sleep deprivation with some of these Christian ministries, but I digress. I'm going to keep going. Public rebukes. Public rebukes continued, Rich. During the meetings, which often lasted hours, Taylor regularly demanded that laborers raise more money, admonished laborers for not meeting his monetary goals, explained the power God gave him, rebuked laborers for disobedience, and cursed those who stopped working for him or spoke negatively about him and other members of the conspiracy, often forbade them from sleeping, causing many laborers to operate in a state of sleep deprivation. And this matches your whistleblower testimony that you've been able to acquire, Rich.
Common SOP in a cult, sleep deprivation. You could write that in the SOP book of cult operation. Sleep deprivation as the top tier, top 5 for sure.
And Paula White was honored to receive a hefty honorarium for speaking for this guy. Okay, he had this practice of issuing today's memo. On May 20th, 2022, all-day marathon to catch up. I guess that's financially. Mm-hmm. And this is from his cell phone. Every top 10 closers By the way, his English ain't too great. Every top 10 closers needs to bring in today 38.6K each. Man, 38 grand you got to raise. All 8 of you top closers, along with the ones on your team, have only one more day, that's Friday, before I'm going to send all the top 8 staff back to Ocala, that's a city in Florida, in the garage, along with everyone under you, double exclamation point. You will either change permanently or die there. Rich.
Yep. All true. Florida's hot this summer. Imagine living in a garage because you weren't making enough money for a church.
Well,
This is, you guys really keep this in mind. This operated as a church, quote unquote. I'm not Christian. I've been to plenty of churches in my life, though, with friends and family that have a pretty good idea of how they should, kind of a good idea. You don't lock people in a garage because they don't make enough money for your church.
So you've been exposed to enough normal Christianity to recognize that this ain't normal.
100%, dude. My grandma, full-blown Catholic, and I grew up with a lot of Christian families in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not Christian. This whole religion thing, when I see this taking place, it's like, how do I support something like that? If I'm going to do it, I'll have my own relationship with God, and I encourage everybody to do the same.
Yeah. I'm going to back up a little bit and read to the end here. It says, you will either change permanently or die there. This is God and my judgment coming. And then he gives, these are the list of the top closers and their teams that are going back to Ocala straight into the garage Saturday if there's no consistent repentance from the whole team. This is God and my judgment. When you have spoken with the victims, Rich, did they at one time really believe that David Taylor, when he said, this is my judgment and God's judgment, it had gripped them and they believed it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Some of these people I've talked to after they left, there's one, it still sticks out to me. They all do, but each one has a different profound effect. And one that sticks out to me from a gentleman named Brian, and I hope he's out there, man. I hope you're doing well, Brian, if you're coming across this, man. It gives me chills to think about it. He was like, dude, I was driving home after I left this cult. And he's like, every overpass I drove under, I thought it was going to fall on me and kill me. So yes, the threat of spiritual damnation from a pastor like this is very real. And it has a very profound effect on people of the Christian faith. That's what I've learned.
Can I ask one more thing? You have, because and I apologize, I got you confused. But by the way, before I forget, thank you so much for your encouragement. Back in December, when I was hit with these fake copyright strikes, you had a lot of good advice and just were very supportive, and I've never forgotten that, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, and that's, when typically if you're a YouTuber, right, and you're exposing these guys and they start hitting you with copyright strikes, let me tell you something, it's because they're scared of you. I've been threatened with lawsuits multiple times. I'm like, let's go, bring it. You want to go to court? David and Catherine Crick.
Yeah.
I
didn't know that about. Catherine Crick. Okay. Before it slips my
Guthrie.
Yeah. Here's what I was going to ask. You've spoken to a lot of victims.
Mm-hmm.
Are these like really dumb people that just aren't very smart?
No, absolutely not. Some of the most intelligent, well thought out, well put together people you'd ever meet. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You could be a Yale scholar. I don't care who you are. If you're not sharp up here in your mind, they'll get you.
Yeah. And so let me just keep going. Okay. It's more on the memo front. Here is from May 26, 2022. You should be, anyway, his English is terrible. You should be in a marathon all day. We have to raise $92K a day starting today for 6 days. Dude, he was trying to raise almost 600 grand in 6 days. What kind of monster is this? Michelle, make them push. Warning from Apostle. Michelle, deal out consequences to all the closers, starting with those among the top 9 and bottom below now that are not bringing in their amount. Garage in Tampa Wait, here's a new one, Rich. Garage in Tampa and take away food now.
Okay.
Food.
So this is where David really messed up. He bought an insanely large amount of property during COVID in a really short amount of time. That's a whole other story. We'll talk about it a later time.
Okay.
So he bought one of the most exclusive mansions in Tampa, 706 Cruzando de Avila. Darcy Glazer Kazowitz was a previous owner of it, who was the Buccaneers assistant coach. That house is known to have issues with like scammers and stuff. It was built by a drug lord back in the like 90s or something. There's a really profound history with that place. So he bought that place thinking it was a good look, but that was another property that actually brought him a lot of problems. So not only did they have a garage out in Ocala, he was putting people in the garage in Tampa as well when they weren't making enough money. This is slavery. This is slavery, everybody.
So when he put them in the garage, like, okay, they only sleep 2 hours, but like, are they sleeping on a cot, sleeping on the floor? What?
Cots, maybe floor. That I don't know that extent to it. All I know is they were forced to be in the garage, and it wouldn't surprise me if you made him sleep on the floor. This man, like, he's up here barking all these orders at these people, calling his people degenerates. He had the nerve to put in text, tell those degenerates to get to work right now. This man has never filled out a job application in his life, and he's calling people degenerates.
Okay. We missed this, though. I'm going to come back to it.
Yeah.
He says, garage in Tampa and take away food. Let's come back to food. I want those in Ocala who's supposed to be doing the work but are not punished and out in the garage and their food taken away to enforce all them applying in their training. Okay, so you've talked to victims. Is that ringing true with your experience talking to these folks? Food deprivation?
The thing, what we have to realize in all this is all in text messages. So this is all true. Everything we're seeing in this, Everett, there is no lies in this. All the people that have come forward and told their testimonies online, it's in text messages. I found out through these survivors, all David did was do everything through text.
That's smart.
Yeah, real smart. And it's real smart because they thought that they would never find these text messages. And it's like, okay, they lost. This is a silver platter case, basically.
Thank the Lord for every one of them judges that signed off on these warrants. Let's just keep reading here. Did you have a comment?
I think it's only, I don't know if it's a judge from each state. This was a federal case. So this went above that, Everett. This went up to Washington.
Well,
they had to have, Washington judges had to sign off on this. This didn't matter about the states.
And I'm just saying, and again, I'm not an expert, but I remember when Vanessa explained this to me. No, this is federal, which is way more teeth. But I'm saying in whether it was exactly the state or regions, it was multiple judges because there's no like one judge that could sign off on the whole thing. That's just like, so these prosecutors had a very compelling case if they got to convince all these different guys.
See, when I talk to some of the people, like my sources in this, the one time one of my sources, like Mr. Holmes, this is above state. This is Washington.
Exactly.
This is Washington, D.C. Like there's nothing states can do in this at this point because this is above and beyond that.
Hey, I got a question for you, Rich. You don't have a dog in the hunt. You're not on the program professing Christianity. I gotta tell you, we're gonna be praying for you, but we love you. But I got a question for you. Just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
If the feds, have come down on basically slavery charges, conspiracy to commit forced labor, money laundering charges, sex trafficking charges, is it possible that if there's any other Christian ministries out there that involve themselves in such things that maybe they're not as safe as they want to think they are? I'm just asking your opinion.
Yeah, 100%. This is just the one that we knew about. If there's one, there's many more. Men in this position of power, especially in the church, this is just from my own research. When men are put in positions of power in the pulpit's more powerful than any political position on the market. And you could stamp that. I've talked to a lot of pastors. And one thing I asked is like, when you're in the pulpit, is it like, what's the power like? He's like, dude, you would never imagine what it's like. The pulpit is a powerful position. And I asked the pastor, is like, do women throw themselves out? He's like, all the time, dude. And he's like, it's up to the pastor at that point to draw that line, be like, no, I'm just the pastor. Like, and that's something I've learned in this. Some pastors don't know how to draw that line.
We have lots of tangents we could go off to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
So he's still on his more memos thing. I mean, every single person must now be raked over the coals from Michelle down to the top 9. Oh man, he's even chastising Michelle, his lieutenant, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Down to the bottom 20, get your butts back in order. You'll have gotten this ministry in a shambles, a complete mess. I want consequences now put on the bottom 20 under the 9 who can close and help, but who is not, and their numbers are low. I want, listen to this, folks. This hasn't come up yet in our discussion, Rich. I want cold water thrown on anyone who don't get up on time and who is dragging. From the top 9 down, I want their numbers looked at and scrutinized, then consequences put on each of them, ! I want cold water thrown in the morning on anyone who don't get up on time and who is dragging.
That's waterboarding.
Dear God, jeez.
That's waterboarding. I don't care which way you put it. That's waterboarding. And David has read about this stuff. And he has even brought it up in conversation to some of the survivors that I've spoken to. Jokingly, but he was actually doing it.
Is that why Paula White was preaching for him? So was she trying to learn waterboard? But I digress. We're going to keep going here.
Yeah.
All right. Now, folks, this is where disclaimer. Trigger alert. Pressuring female workers. And you already said the age, didn't you? Some of these were like 19-year-old kids, right?
Let's finish this. I'll have a discussion I had with some of these people about this.
Good.
This
I'm going to give you some space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taylor and Brannon also used text messages to pressure female laborers to comply with Taylor's demands. Lord help me, for sexually explicit images. Taylor, coordinating with Brannon, threatened some of these female laborers with harmful spiritual and reputational consequences if they disobeyed or delayed complying with his orders to produce and send him graphic sexual images and videos. Are you ready now, Rich? Or want me to read the next one?
Let's go to the next one, and then we'll go on a little tangent here for a minute.
Okay. On or about March 28th, 2020, Taylor texted F1. So this is like a victim female one. They listed earlier in the lawsuit that there's different victims.
Okay, but hold on. This isn't a victim. This is just a female.
Oh.
We know who these people are too. I'm not going to say for obvious reasons, but our community knows exactly who they are.
Okay.
And it's disgusting. Yeah, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what he texted, quote, God the Father has ordained us to be together. Anything you resist that God ordains for your life will be met by Satan coming next. That was on the 28th. On the same day.
Same day.
He also texted, also saw your future if you disobeyed and where you and your whole life ended up, even your soul. And I don't want that for you, and neither does the Lord. Then a day later, do you understand what's at stake with you not taking serious enough God's will for us to be together? Do you understand how Satan is trying to deceive you and make this about how you feel or how you don't feel in comparison to God's will? And most of all, do you understand what's going to take place in your life if you don't stop fighting this in your heart and submit And on or about, let's just finish this. On or about, I'm going to give you some space there, Rich. On or about 2 minutes later, on the same day, March 29, 2020, Satan, he's going to destroy you if you don't surrender, honey. You should be able to ask, God should be able to ask you to do anything, and you should have the heart to surrender and do that, no questions asked. But what's dangerous is he is so kind. Now, folks, get ready for this one. He will not, listen to this. Whew, he will not force anyone to do his will or love it. But in the end, because they didn't serve the Lord with gladness of heart and was not willing, he throws them into hell. If Mary would have rejected giving her body to God for Jesus when she was approached by the angel Gabriel, she wouldn't be in heaven today. I am greater in rank with I'm greater in rank with God than an angel, and I was sent to tell you what God's will is. When I was approached about you from him, I didn't love you either this way. I thought to myself, how can I fall in love with a young little girl? No, I just couldn't see you as a woman. But he explained to me that I didn't have to love you initially. I just needed to love him and to obey his will for us to be married. Go ahead and read her response there, Rich. Or
I'll read it when F1 did not respond. Oh yeah.
So go ahead. Let's
no go. Sarah, I'm reading some of the comments. Sarah Lackey, people believe this stuff. Yes. Day in, day out. It could be your friends, family members. Yes. People believe this stuff and they fall for it every day.
And he didn't necessarily start there with this person, but after humiliation, after seeing people being beaten, after not having food, after sleep deprivation in the whole environment, all I just want to say to anybody out there, please I do not think, and I mean this sincerely, Rich, I'm no smarter than any of these victims.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so he's
everybody.
Go ahead, sir.
Everybody that's watching this, keep in mind, these are girls, barely legal. Just keep that in mind. Barely legal.
These are girls the age that you send off to college for the first time. Remember
18, 19, not even 20 years old, everybody. I know for sure he's been doing this for decades. Grooming little girls.
So he's pressuring this particular female. It's like her time to take all these explicit pictures and videos and all the threats that we've read. So this is now on March 30th. When F1 did not respond, Taylor texted, "No one treats my text to them like this but you. If you don't stop this," and how was she treating them? She wasn't responding. She wasn't sending pictures. She wasn't sending videos. She wasn't defiling herself in this way, if I can say that. But if you don't stop this demonic behavior, I'm throwing your butt out of here with the quickness. You better repent for this now. And on or about 10 minutes later, he texted, this is where, brother, this is so high level. Taylor texted Brannon to arrange for Klein to direct F1, this same female, to respond.
I will say, because it's in the same context, I'll say that.
Yes, sir.
It's one of the daughters of the mothers of the cult. And you know something I've learned in this isn't something new either. La Luz del Mundo, it was another church from Mexico. You might have heard about it, the HBO series. The parents were giving their daughters over to the apostle. And he's a pedophile. He's a known pedophile.
Yeah. Putting this together, Rich, because there was just sections I had to leave out. So far she hasn't responded. Something inside this young girl is like holding her back from taking explicit videos and photos. And so Taylor sent numerous texts about God, repentance, and hell. He told her, God and I are done with you if you don't repent sincerely. Repent sincerely would mean the pictures.
Yep.
This is your last chance, or I'm putting you out of here. And then this is what is so sad. Later on, about March 31st. See, this is like going on all day from what we start on the 28th of March, the 29th, 30th.
Can I chime in here and think about
Please.
this? Think about
Anytime.
the constant pressure as a young girl like this, and you got this slobby black man trying to throw his like trying to hustle you for naked pictures. And you're a girl. You're not a woman yet. You're a girl still. And you got this man who's in his 50s saying, you better give me naked pictures or you're going to hell. God isn't going to love you. You're going to hell. I'm not Christian, but you know what that is? To me, that sounds like spiritual rape, everybody. That's what that sounds like. I'm not forcing you, but if you don't do this, you're going to hell. I have a problem with that, and I'm not even Christian. And if you're Christian, you should have a huge problem with that. If any pastor ever threatens you or your family member like that, you better walk out of that church right away, and you better report them. Because if not, you're just as guilty as the person, and you're just as guilty, and the crime is worse than itself, man.
Yeah. This, folks, we've given out the disclaimers and the trigger alerts 2 minutes after receiving. Okay. Okay. So finally, after all this pressure, gosh, I hate saying this, Rich. I hate having to say this on this program. The young lady under pressure finally sent, I thought I screenshotted it. She sent a picture, a non-intimate picture of herself. She sent a picture of herself in a thong. Okay. Is that okay?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that wasn't good enough for David Taylor. She should have already been, as a woman, sending me sexy pictures, even her body. And talk to blank about sending me sexy pictures being a woman, naked with heels, etc. And see, here's what Rich, the guy's a sicko, like demonic sicko. I get that, but he's got lieutenants that are helping him in this threatening pressure on these young females. I mean,
where did we see this recently? Epstein. In this new indictment, they mention Epstein. They mention Epstein case. I would hate to be on that indictment if they're mentioning something like that.
Yeah. Now I feel like you've got like some time where you want to have an extended few moments to speak. Anytime you're ready, you tell me. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing while I'm doing that, Rich. I'm going to be listening intently, but I am going to go to the other screen, and I'm just going to ask a reliable search engine, how many well-known Pentecostal charismatic preachers and singers have been in service with David Taylor? That's just a little curiosity that I have. Let's just keep going. On or about April 2nd, I mean, it's still the same the same individual. Go ahead.
Imagine that constant abuse. This is abuse, everybody.
Oh my gosh, okay? Yes.
Imagine this, 18 years old. This girl in her mind is telling her conscience is very much working, say, I'm not attracted to you. This is wrong. We'll get to that though. Yeah.
I'm going to take the time to read this one, Rich. So this is after like 5 days of this stuff. And she texts back, I absolutely fear getting kicked out and sent to hell. And that's why I'm going after getting the right heart. I think because of that is where sometimes I get into doing it because I feel I have to and not wanting to do it. Last night, and then his response was, last night was serious. The Lord visited me and told me because you started to truly repent to open my heart to you again, and that he was too. He continued and said, furthermore, not to give up on the future he has for us and to protect you and help save and preserve you from Satan, the enemy, who's trying to deceive you in this season because of your lack of faith. And I'm not going to get into Lifton Zayt. I'm not going to get into Hassan, but this is North Korean. This is satanic cult. This is Chinese communist. This, Rich, bail me out. I'm speechless.
It's all the above. It's all the above. The research that I've done in this, I've looked at every communist leader, all the most dangerous cult leaders we've had. He's all of them in one. That's why I say this is a hybrid style cult of abuse. Like we know what the Koresh's were doing. We know what David Koresh was doing out there, but this is way different than that, man. He had multiple locations. He had call centers set up. This was a well-oiled operation, everybody. Like I said, it's a boiler room. This is a well-oiled boiler room.
This is on the fly, and hey, it may yield nothing interesting. Oh, brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. This was not planned, Rich. Rich, where are you? Rich, this wasn't planned, okay? Go down this road with me, Rich, and be an avid commentator. You have a comment, I want you to make it. So while you were talking just now, I typed into Google's AI, how many well-known charismatic preachers and singers did public events with David E. Taylor? I'll just read a few. Benny Hinn has appeared alongside David E. Taylor in public broadcast ministry, TV programs. There's more. Rod Parsley, prominent charismatic televangelist and pastor of World Harvest Church. Paul White Cain, Juanita Bynum, prominent singers, Vicky Yohe, Terry McAlmon, Judy Jacobs, and I know for a fact because I have the video, Darlene Bishop was happy to do events.
What was the first two? What was the first two you mentioned?
The first two that I mentioned, probably just this is guy
Benny
just
Hinn.
a little.
Let me clear that up about Benny Hinn.
Okay.
David was hoping that Benny Hinn would like him. The whole story is this is coming from survivor testimony to my sources. That at that event where David went to see Benny Hinn, like Benny Hinn basically like didn't care about David. And David seriously had a broken heart, like he just lost his first puppy dog. Like he was really hoping that Benny Hinn would like him, and he didn't. So that's David. Him appearing with Benny Hinn was probably just for some picture. But David has never done any kind of event with Benny Hinn. He wanted to be Benny Hinn. They called him the Black Benny Hinn at one time.
Man, I grabbed the clip. I just decided for this program, Rich, I wasn't going to grab a bunch of clips because I wanted to give us time to read and please, anything you have to say with the remaining time we have, just talk over the top of me. I hope you I've made that clear.
This is really important for everybody because the feds don't just go out and investigate churches, but when they get stuff like this, they can't not ignore it. They can't ignore it. They have to do something about it. And it's up to us, you guys. It really is. It's up to the people because there really is no reporting system for the 501c3. It's up to us, the taxpayers, the people giving money to the churches. These guys are very much operating in the public. If they're taking your money and they're telling you they don't have to tell you where it goes, well, you know what you should do? Probably stop giving money to that church. Put it in your savings account. You know, if your church is being real shady about the money and their whole first hour of the sermon is about donors and tithing, you should probably do an about face and walk out. Little common sense goes a long way in this. You know, and again, I'm not saying every Christians don't have common sense, but it'll go a long way in this because, again, people that have come out of David's cult, some of the most brilliant people you'd ever meet in your life.
Will you allow me to address this audience for just a moment, Rich?
Yeah,
I usually would. Ladies and gentlemen, why does it take a bright, articulate young man such as Rich, who's not professing Christianity, to point out the very things that the Christian community should automatically be doing? Rich,
yep.
You shame me, sir. You shame us, sir. We've put up with this. This is crazy. And look what it has led to.
I think that's the frustrating part too, because I'm a veteran. Like, this is something I've protected. There's a lot of veterans in my community. We're all standing up for the same thing. Hey, yeah, we're cool with religion. Hey, but at what point does it become abusive? At what point do we say, okay, time out, honky? No, you can't do this anymore. right? Seriously, at what point do we say time out, no more, stop what you're doing, pull the covers back? What are you guys doing?
I think we're way overdue. I just want to show producing on the fly, Rich. I just took a screenshot. Y'all can do this with your own Google, Dogpile, Yahoo, AI, whatever. But yeah, just want to say, prominent charismatic preachers and televangelists, Benny Hinn, Rod Parsley, Paul and White, Juanita Bynum. And then I also asked, Rich, you wouldn't be aware of this because you have better things to do than follow everything that I cover on my channel. But where is it? I'll save you. But yes, it confirmed. And I have the video. Darlene Bishop. Darlene Bishop was thrilled.
I've seen her. I'm very well versed with David Taylor, and I've seen probably all of his videos. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so let's keep moving right through this.
Okay.
We're getting okay. So here's what I want to point out, and when we get here, I think we're getting close to the end here. He's pressuring this female. It's now we're at April 3rd. These text messages are so intense since the 28th of March. Thank you for sharing your heart with me, and thank you for all that you have said about me. I too love you. I am still going after a changed heart, and I'm not going to stop. I will take some pictures like you're talking about. And then Taylor responds, I've been waiting on you to send me pictures, my love. Why is it taking you so long? Now, let me see if this is, here's what happened. Okay. After all this coercion, she sent him pictures in her underwear. Okay. In a thong. Okay. I hate even going there. And then,
Taylor, can I say something?
You certainly
in this sense, you guys, I run my channel and I say what's there because this is what's happening.
Yeah.
This is very true. This is in text messages coming from David himself. This is what it is, everybody.
After 5 days, what's left of her innocence and just trying to fight to her inner sense of self, under pressure, she has taken some in a thong pictures. Oh, but that ain't good enough for David Taylor. And Rich, you've let it. I can't read what he says. I can't read it on this program.
And ladies and gentlemen in here, think this is your 18-year-old daughter. This is your daughter. Just put yourself and this is your daughter. This is your daughter. This is your niece. This is your granddaughter.
Maybe people should pay attention to these things before they send their 18-year-old to a ramp, to wait, I meant to say camp.
I can't hear you, Everett.
That happened once before. Let me do this. I'll bring you back in. How about now? Is that better? Oh, he still can't hear me. Oh, no. I'll send you a text. This happened once before, and I don't know why it happens. So I'm going to say... Send you a text. This happened once before.
Yeah, I lost him.
Wait a minute. I'm saying go back and come back in. So I'm going to say... Send you a text. This happened once before. Yep.
Yeah, I lost you. Okay.
Maybe he'll read his phone. I'm so sorry, folks. I did not mean for that to happen. Sorry, Rich. That happened once before. Yeah, so I have removed Rich from the stream because usually they can come right back in. And if he reads my text message, he will attempt to do so. So I just want to finish this, folks, and I apologize because this is not fun stuff. This young lady acquiesces, sends some pictures, but she still has some clothes on. David Taylor says the absolute nastiest. Now it's going to... There you go, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you back, bro.
I'm so sorry. That happened once before, and it almost never happened, so I didn't think it would happen.
No, it happens.
So I'm wanting to wrap this up, but he's just not happy unless... So this is how he responded to her sending pictures in her under. At this point, you either completely belong to me and are going to submit, or you're not. Oh, and Rich, can I say this? He is in this whole pressure, grooming, forced, whatever, he's talking about we're going to be married, right?
To an 18-year-old, and he's 50. He's 50.
How many times has he used that tactic? We're going to be married.
Thousands.
It worked on you, Vicky Yowie. It worked on Vicky Yowie. She said so. And so you either are gonna be my wife or girl or not. I'm not putting up with anything else outside of that. You belong to me. Your body belongs to me. I'm going to drive this thing out of you, or it's going to take you out with it. All right. So we got to the end of that. Rich, I feel like we've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish.
Okay, good.
But just give us a closing word. And again, thank you so much for coming on and helping people actually really see that this is really out there. This really happened. This is really part of modern, accepted within the Benny Hinn ranks, Rod Parsley ranks, Juanita Bynum ranks, Darlene Bishop ranks, Paula White in the White House ranks. This guy actually had them. This is okay with them.
Yeah, this is one of my community members was saying the other day, Rich, unfortunately, this is standard operating procedure for these type of charismatic movements. If anybody's been following some of the cases out of South Carolina where that pastor knowingly hired a sex offender for the church. I mean, come on, people. And parents, I don't have any kids, but if I was a parent, if your kids are coming to you saying some stuff about their church pastor, you should listen to them, okay? Don't ever deny them. If they're saying something weird about your church pastor, listen to everything they're telling you. Check their phones, okay? If you have a weird feeling about your pastor, walk away. Walk away, question them. There's nothing wrong with that. Them using the Bible to threaten you, eternal damnation, that's not Christianity, man. That is not Christianity. That is far from it. That is manipulation. That is witchcraft at the very basic. That is evil. To manipulate somebody with good, like to kill somebody with good. Come on. That's Christianity. That's how I'm seeing it. Is Christians are out there killing people with God right now, man. It is the most horrible form of abuse. It's horrible. It's horrible. I'm not saying God is bad, but when it's put in the hands of powerful people and driven individuals, it is by far the most abusive form on the planet.
I'm gonna leave it right there, Rich. Rich, we're gonna wrap it up. I got a grill that's calling to me on this beautiful Sunday evening, brother. We've taken about an hour of your time, a little bit more. Thank you so much, Rich. I really appreciate it. All right, all right, man. Be good.
See you. Bye.
Okay, talk to you later. Okay, bye. Y'all, I'm going to leave it right there. It was a little different kind of a program. For somebody that does what I do for a living, my full-time occupation, honestly, when I read that lawsuit, my jaw, I was in bed, but my jaw was still on the floor. It's just unbelievable. But I'm going to just say this, and then we're going to close that. Unfortunately, this might be like a little higher in severity in some areas, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Unfortunately, when I read that lawsuit, it reminded me of some quote unquote ministries that we're taking a hard look at and gonna be doing a lot of reporting on. Folks, if you'd like to support Ohio for Freedom, we don't have a call center. We don't sleep deprive anybody. We don't food deprive anybody. And we've frankly never had more work ahead of us ever. And thank you. I've got to figure out a way to say thank you to our Zelle folks. I mean, I can say names on the air. I just don't know if that's what people would wish, but thank you. But we have a PayPal link. We have a bank card link. We get a really good rate on the bank card, and we really appreciate that. So you can use whatever you shop on Amazon with, your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover, American Express, whatever. You can use that. Zelle. And folks, we'll put it to good use. We have a P.O. Box of Ohio for Freedom, P.O. Box 344, Mason, Ohio. Y'all, I just got to tell you, it's going to be a rip-roaring week. There's a lot of exciting stuff. There's a lot of fireworks happening. I ain't going to elaborate, but I am going to say until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless this beautiful state of Ohio from whence we originate. God bless the United States of America, and we send our greetings to our brethren around the world. Thank you so much for joining us, y'all. Good night.